you're serious about transforming your physique and getting jacked, you absolutely should not be bulking. Because we both know you've tried bulking before and you've stopped after 5 weeks because you were getting fluffy. But we also know that you're sick of being fat, skinny, or skinny fat, which doesn't leave you any other options but to eat your body weight in calories every single day. Especially with your genetics that make gaining anything but body fat feel impossible. Or does it? Because in this video I'm going to walk you through why bulking isn't your only hope if you want to get bigger. What so many guys get wrong about their diet when they're trying to put on size. And what you should do instead of bulking if you want to build muscle, get stronger and transform your physique without getting fat. Hi, I'm Josh. I've been coaching for 6 years now and I've helped over 150 clients just like you who are frustrated with going to the gym but not looking like they lift. I've now gone on to transform how they look and achieve the physique that they felt like they should have had in the first place. I've made it my mission to help as many lads as I can do that as well. So they can skip the 15 years I spent going to the gym 3 times a week but having a physique that looked like it was my first time there. Right, bulking, probably. Definitely the worst term you can use when you talk about the process of building muscle. Because straight away, it puts you in the mindset of, well, all size is good size. And as someone who's looked like this, after starting like this, I can tell you categorically that is not true. And I know you know that. And you know I know you know that. And I know that you know that I know what you thought I knew once. Plus, if you need more evidence, just ask your missus. Look, the whole point of a muscle building phase is to build muscle and look bigger than when you started. But bigger doesn't mean fatter, which is all bulking is ever gonna do for you, just like it did for me. Every one of these pictures is me at the end of my bulk, which we both know is the worst part. So you could call them all peak bulk. Heavier than when I started, sure. Stronger than I started. Absolutely. And looking like I'd eaten my old self, but not in a Majin Buu absorbing his enemy's way. In a Kirby inhaling everything in sight way. And look, we both know the classic bulking timeline. You start in your surplus and feel fucking great for the first 2 weeks. But it's at that point you start looking in the mirror and you're just not sure if you're seeing any difference. And then you step on the scales and no change. But you know you're supposed to be heavier. So you think, fuck it, I need to eat more. And then you do, you feel fucking great, and then the scale jumps up, but then it jumps up again. It just keeps jumping up every day. And all of a sudden you're looking in the mirror thinking, oh shit, I've got fat. And then we all know you pull the plug and stop your bulk after 8 weeks, having done nothing other than put on all the fat that you spent the last however long cutting off. Repeat that process a few times and you convince yourself that your genetics are the problem. And this is exactly the process I went through and the mistakes I made before I qualified as a coach. And what I see 90% of the lads in my gym doing. Short-term cuts and short-term bulks that keep them looking exactly the same as they did 2 years ago. Which is actually impressive when you think about it. Like their body's in some kind of homeostasis of just refusing to make any progress. But enough about them. What can you do to avoid this physique hellhole? Well, a muscle building phase, a prolonged period of eating more, training fucking hard, and looking for slow and steady gains on the scale. Which is exactly what I did in the 2 years leading up to this photo shoot. And for those almost 2 years, I was getting stronger, getting fitter, getting bigger, and most importantly, looking like I lifted something other than donuts to my mouth. What was the difference? Am I just being pedantic? Well, traditional bulking has you chasing a percentage of weight gain on the scales every single week at all costs. And you'll see ranges from 0.5 to 2% of weight gain, but we all know that you see that 2% and you think, fuck it, that's what I'm aiming for. Because that's the fastest route to getting jacked, right? Whereas in a muscle building phase, we chase training performance and a set amount of weight gain every single week. The difference is subtle, but important, because one is looking for slow and steady progress alongside training performance. The other is saying, number go up good. First they'll get you jacked, the second will make you fat. And this is why I want you to stop bulking, because all you're doing is giving yourself an excuse to eat like a dickhead. It's all good, mate, I'm bulking. You're not. You're just getting fat. Instead, literally the first thing you should start doing is saying you're in a muscle building phase, a performance phase, a gaining phase, a power block, or say you're massing, because they all have a stronger, more positive connotation with your actual goal. And they'll put you in a much more focused, positive mindset to make sure you're actually doing the behaviors you need to achieve the goal that you have. Which might sound like a little bit of woo-woo nonsense, but a mindset shift is the biggest change you need to make if you actually want to transform your physique. But that's a topic for another video. From a numbers perspective, you need to do two things. The first is work out your maintenance calories, which you can do with a calorie calculator. I actually have one in the description of this video that you can grab for free. Once you've done that, you need to spend 2 weeks eating at that number and tracking everything that you eat to make sure you are actually eating that amount of calories. And as long as your weight stays stable across those 14 days, you can be very confident that those are actually your maintenance calories. At which point, you're going to add 200 calories a day to that number. You're going to keep tracking diligently and you're going to watch how your weight responds over the 7 days. If your average weight creeps up by about 0.2 kg, you're going to hold it there. But don't I need to be in a 300 to 500 calorie surplus? That calorie range that you've heard before has literally been pulled out of thin air. And if you don't believe me, Google it. Don't AI it, Google it. Try and find the research or the experiment that comes to the conclusion that the best calorie surplus is 300 to 500 calories a day, because you won't. Yet everyone and their mum will rattle off this range when they talk about building muscle. And this is the biggest lie that you've been told about bulking. There is no golden surplus. I mean, most people given this surplus don't even understand the reason you need to be in a calorie surplus to build muscle. So let me tell you, you need two things to force your body to build new muscle. You need fuel for the new tissue, and you need to be in a state of net muscle protein synthesis, which means that your body spends more time building muscle than it does breaking down muscle. Our bodies are only in a state of MPS when we're eating and digesting food. The more calories in means more time spent eating and digesting, which means more time spent in a state of MPS. And that is the only reason you need to be in a calorie surplus, because it has you eating more food for more of the time. You then need to factor in that your body has an upper limit of MPS that it can achieve every single day, and you have to figure this out for yourself. Eat anything above that and it just turns those excess calories to body fat. Taking all that into account, you can see why the standard approach to bulking is fucking stupid. You're actually better off undershooting your upper limit of MPS and gaining slightly slower than you could than overshooting it and having all those additional calories just turn to fat. That way you can spend more time in a muscle building phase, eating more without getting fat, without hating how you look, and training really fucking hard. And look, don't worry about shortchanging yourself on the MPS front, because the difference in muscle you can build and muscle you will build won't matter when you equate for time. And by that I mean you're going to be happy to spend more time in a muscle building phase where you get to maintain your condition, but over time the differences in rate just balance out. In real world terms, you just spend more time eating more food, building more muscle, and enjoying the process. And at the end of your muscle building phase, you do a fast, aggressive cut protocol before moving back into another muscle building phase, or just sitting nice and jacked at maintenance for a bit. So to summarize, bulking will make you fat, but a muscle building phase will see you sitting in a surplus for 12 plus months without looking like you just got let loose on an all-you-can-eat buffet, all the while seeing your training performance and your lifts go up. Assuming your training is spot on though, which it will be if you head here and watch this video. Happy massing.